Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 314. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I am Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. It is Sunday, September the 11th.
It is.
2016. And because we're not a political show, we're just going to keep on moving right past that. We talked about it before.
We have.
So we're going to keep going.
What are you knitting on?
I'm knitting on really only two things right now. One of them is socks. So I finished the first of my Tokyo Subway HD Yarns socks. This is the, God, forgot this thing mirrors. I finished the first one. Haven't actually tried it on, so I have no idea if it fits me or not. So that's fun. But if it doesn't fit me,
it'll fit someone.
Mama Linneman gets a present.
Well, if they're too short.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, if they're too big,
then they go to Laura. If they're really too big, they go to Beck.
That's how life works in this household.
So I finished sock number 1 and started the second one Friday when Kobe and I came over and we played Ticket to Ride.
My parents were in town. They thought they were coming to do one thing.
They were met with a list of things.
Well, the one thing that they were going to... So, there's a rotten board on, the area of my house right, below the gutter. So the gutter is here, and this board is what the gutter is resting on. And we just thought that one board was rotten. And then when they got up, it was, the whole entire, line of the gutters, the whole entire front of the house.
I feel like that's most home renovation shows. They think, it's just this one thing, we'll take out this.
Yeah, and actually when they went to take that out, the people had rigged another board in front of it because they didn't put up the gutters right. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't even, that area wasn't even rotten once they got that one board that wasn't even supposed to be there down. But they had screwed the gutters directly into the boards instead of hanging them like they're supposed to.
So something that was simple ended up taking more time than it should have.
4 days instead of 1. So I got to spend extra time with them, and Pearl got to spend extra time with her Oma and Opa. Yeah. So she tried to leave with her Oma. She is in love with my mom.
Well, who isn't?
And she thinks my father is hilarious. So they played quite a bit. And now she's totally spoiled because she thinks, because I was off Monday because of the holiday, and then they came Tuesday, so she thinks she hasn't been in her crate during the day at all for a week. So tomorrow morning is going to be super fun for her. And probably for me.
Yeah, I was going to say, probably it's going to hurt you more than it's going to hurt her, I think.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, so that's the first thing that you're knitting. What pattern are you using?
Vanilla is the New Black by Annie Fletcher.
So that's got an interesting heel.
Yeah, that's got the rib. The gusset is done in this way where you create this ribbed heel and then short rows for the flap.
And she's got that version. She's got a bunch of different socks that are styled like that, which are very
Sport DK
cool.
version. But yeah, it's intended. Well, I don't know if it's intended or it was just a happy accident that you could wear them inside out if you prefer. This mirroring is really doing my head in because the heel is the inverse on the other side. So anyway, enough about that.
Have you worn the pair that I knit you from the toe up?
Not yet.
There's a toe up version as well. I knit for Leslie for her birthday in the Desert Vista Dye Works. Everybody knows your name colorway.
Yeah, cheers.
For sure. Her sale still goes on through tonight.
Until midnight. But it'll be down by the time y'all see this, so I think she should do that annually. I think that'd be a really cool thing. Oh, does she?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, well, she's already smarter than me.
So, we're talking about Susan from Desert Vista Dye Works, and on her anniversary of, creating the company every year, which this is the 5th year, so congratulations, Susan. That's awesome. She puts up all her colorways. So usually you can only get her, this colorway, which is Man Can Fly, you can only get 1 month out of the year. But for this special sale, she puts them all up. And I understand why she does that, because
she has
that way she has all the dyes mixed.
A couple hundred colorways at least.
She does. And Leslie and I each have like 5 that we'd like to get in addition to the ones that we already have.
Yeah.
So, and my one that I won for doing 6 months of her sock club just came on Friday. So I have that as well. What else are you knitting on?
I'm knitting on Stripe Study. I finished all of the accent colors or contrast colors.
Oh, you did. Look at you.
This needle's too small, but I don't want one that actually fits it. So this is what...
Do you want me to grab this?
Yeah.
How about that? Look at that. We're in the same room.
What
Look at the things we can do. I don't know.
Hold it up again. Oh, something looked weird. Oh, no, it's right there. There. What is that? Oh. Something wonky happened there.
Right there?
Right here.
Oh, it just looks like your pearl gutters are bigger. Oh, no, it's not.
I don't know what happened.
Did you short row? It looks like you short row back.
Looks like I did something wrong.
Maybe it's just because you changed the yarn.
Oh, it must have gotten caught and pulled taut there. Because see,
You've got a loop. Oh.
So maybe I'll have to loosen it. This is what I'm talking.
You'll just have to move the stitches. Take like a tapestry needle and slowly move that back out.
Yeah, it must have gotten caught on something. Anyway, so this is what it looks like. The gray was the last accent color. Now I have to do 4 inches of this teal, turquoise, whatever you want to call it.
That'll go fast.
It's this color, so I have to do 4 inches of that in just regular old garter stitch. I just haven't started it yet. So
that'll go super fast, I bet.
Those lives in one of my Blinger string bags.
Cute.
Erin makes great bags. That's it. That's all that I'm working on. I have a couple of little things finished, but I'll wait until really little things.
Okay.
But you go ahead.
Now I'm intrigued because I put up the show notes. We do a Google document for our show notes now. Well, we have for like 4 years.
That's actually probably one of the few things that I'm really grateful for since I moved and then came back. We had to digitally do show notes, which is great because when it's done and it's time to put it up, I just copy and paste. I don't have to type all that crap up.
Before we were handwriting it in a notebook, so I haven't even looked at what Leslie put up. So it'll be a surprise. I am knitting on 2 items. The first is my Desert Vista Dye Works socks from last month because I was fail, but I love the colorway, so I'm continuing on, and then I'll cast on a new pair for this month out of her yarn. Because even though I missed a month, I won't get the 12 month, but I'll still get like a coupon code for 30% off if I get 3 months done. So I feel like that's worth it. It's going to have an afterthought heel. Plus I have an afterthought heel class I'm teaching this week. Yeah. So it's good to get things ready to roll for that. So I'll have these ones done. I'll try to get the second one all the way to where I can pick up the heel and show people how to do that. So that'll be fun. So we just got these bags. She just sent them. In fact, I still have the tag on. And this is a Frog Peak creation. She's out of Canada, British Columbia. And she actually has a coupon code for all of you guys. So it's TheKnitGirlls 2016. And it gets you 10% off until the end of the year. And that's Monique. And she is very active in our group. So she just started this bag making company back in like July. Oh, cool. And so she sent me this one, and then she sent Leslie. Well, she let us pick, and I picked this one because it's crazy, and I love it.
And this one's a slightly more subdued, and I think fits my personality a little bit better.
It's a triangle bag. Yeah,
it's one of the triangle bags.
So she's got all different styles.
With coordinating fabric. So, I think that's cool.
Yeah. So that is where this is living. This is just a true, not a true afterthought heel. It's a forethought afterthought heel where you put in a line of waste yarn, which I did right there, purple, and then you just finish knitting the sock, and then I go and pick up those stitches and work the heel. I'm probably going to do it in a contrast color because it'll be easier to see for the class. So I might do it in a red because it's in the middle of a gray stripe. And the way I do my afterthought heels is I my forethought heels rather, is I put the yarn in 1.5 inches. Actually, I use the measurement for my toe because you're decreasing back down to that amount or a little bit more. I use that measurement to determine how long my heel's going to be. So it works out perfect.
So for those that haven't done afterthought heels, the depth of your heel, unless you alter it in some way, is going to be essentially the same depth as the toe. For your socks.
Because you're just decreasing down to the same width, unless you do like a really teeny tiny bit
some
at
people
the end.
decrease their toes down to like 4 stitches on each needle, so 8 total. I don't like one that small. I usually do 8 on each, or 10
14.
on each. Really?
14 or 16, yeah. Anyway, so that is Man Can Fly. It's a Superman based colorway, and I'm in love.
Tell that, yeah.
The other thing that I've been working on, and not a whole lot, I was hoping to get this done, but Pearl's actually locked out right now because she is being a pest.
Yes, she's just not certain how to show her love in a way that isn't disruptive.
So she's pretty well trained when it's just me, and I can get her to sit, but Leslie's here, and so it's
exciting things are happening.
Unlike Donkey Kong, I just dropped 2 stitches. Eek! Alright, I'll pick those back up. So, my first sleeve of my flax light is done, and I'm working on the second sleeve. This is going to go on hiatus until after next weekend, or I might take it with me to work on next weekend. I
feel like your first sleeve was done last week, wasn't it?
Nope.
Oh.
It was like to there.
Oh, okay.
So, I only know that because Pearl and I, this morning, it was gorgeous here. It was like 75 or 72 or something in the morning. And so I went outside and drank coffee and sat and knit for a little bit on this. And Pearl ran around like a nutter for an hour, which was perfect. So I'm very good at distracting her now. Like, we go for a walk, and that, like, buys me 30 minutes of knitting time.
Uninterrupted.
Yeah. Or I give her a busy bone, and that gives me 10 minutes.
I was going to say, she's pretty good about destroying those things.
So, this is Flax Light. It's a pattern by Tin Can Knits. It's a fingering weight version of the flax sweater. I did not do the garter stitch detail that it calls for, mainly because I like it. I like this yarn just in the stockinette, and I was not willing to interrupt. I like the way it's pulling now, so I didn't want to mess with it. The needles I have are signature size 5s. And then I also have a set of size 2s for the ribbing, because you go down for the ribbing. So, enjoyable. I'm hoping to get it. She's not due. Her last day, because she's having a C-section, this is for one of my coworkers, is October 10th. So I still have a little bit of time. And that's living in my way too large for it Fat Squirrel bag. But it's a great bag. And it's not really leaving my house, because DPNs... I tend to lose if I leave my house with them. So those are the 2 projects I'm working on. What have you finished? See, I've already lost one. That is not in the bag with the rest of them.
So, over the weekends, I tend to stay up too late reading. And by too late, I mean like 2 in the morning, usually, reading. And so when I actually go to sleep, my brain still can't shut down. Like, it's still... And usually during the week, I have no problem. Once I lay down and I get comfortable, I'm out. You know, I might wake up to go to the bathroom, but I can sleep pretty soundly for the most part. Unless my husband is really on a tear with his snoring.
You guys need that? I keep seeing Tempur-Pedic bed commercials.
I want one.
Keep thinking of
I don't care how much of an old lady it makes me. I want one of those. There's a new one, or a new commercial that I saw. Maybe it's not new, but I haven't watched like TV in a long time. But I was watching something on the internet, and the commercial came on, and the Tempur-Pedic, and it was like, you know, it was one of the ones like your mom and dad have where it's separate for each side.
Yeah.
And the husband starts snoring, and the woman wakes up and uses the remote and raises him. And then she starts snoring or something, and the husband, you know, raises his arm and pushes the button, and she stops snoring because it comes up. It's really cute. I'm making it sound really dull, but it's really cute. Anyway, so in one of these Insomniac things, I decided I should go ahead and start making Christmas ornaments for my new team. I switched jobs about 4 months ago, and I really like the team that I'm on. All the people are really, you know... I feel like if you can answer a silly question with a meme in email, we're going to be okay. We're going to be friends. So the whole team is like that. And
so you're making them teeny tiny hats?
Well, because the job that I'm doing is not really the job I thought I was going to be doing. There's a lot of, so many different pieces that go into these systems that we use. And so we all have to wear different hats.
Oh,
we all have to wear, this is my web channels hat, and this is my Unix hat, and this is my deconstructing logs that I don't even understand hat, and this is my program that was created in 1999 and hasn't been updated since then, but we still depend on it hat. All of these. So anyway, I made tiny little hats, and it's a free pattern on Ravelry that I linked to. These are all different worsted weight, worsted weight scraps or fingering weight held double. So I just made little hats. I've still got like 6 more to go. And then what I'm going to do is make all the pom-poms the same color. So there's a little...
Oh, that's why you were asking me for a wee pom-pom maker.
Yeah.
Why don't you use a fork?
I think that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I have to do some tests pom-poms, but I've still got 6 more to go. But these only took like 20 minutes a piece.
So how are they going to use them as ornaments? Are you going to do a hanger?
I'm going to do a little piece of fishing wire.
Okay.
And thread it through. Because not everybody... I wanted it to be able to hang from like a cube, because not everybody is,
has a tree.
Is a Christian that celebrates Christmas in the typical way with a tree, so I wanted it to be non-denominational. So
look at you, all cute.
Yeah, so I made a half a dozen hats. But
so how many people are in your group?
Well, in my immediate group, there's 12 of us, but there's also another group that we go to for support on certain things that's another like 10 people. So I'm gonna make the other 6 and then see how I feel.
Yeah.
Christmas is still 3 months away, so I've got
You're
time.
doing awesome.
And they're actually kind of fun, It gives me like, I'll do one of these and then I'll go throw the laundry and then I'll come back and do another one of these and then I'll unload the dishwasher, and it's a good like
that's how it was with the cork trees.
Like commercial cleaning that people do. Yeah, like that. It gives breaks. So anyway, that's
awesome.
I did spin because I came to Knit Night with no knitting.
That's right.
But I didn't bring it with me.
Oh, okay. So my mom returned Leslie's wheel to her, and there's your bobbin right there. This is the Acadia bobbin that I spun on a long time ago, and I actually have the other half of the fiber over here that I need to spin and then ply this. In an unrelated note, my mom was spinning on my Lendrum, finished one bobbin, and left the rest of the fiber for when she comes back next.
So now you can't use it?
No, I can take off the bobbin. Like, she finished a bobbin. I just need to change out the bobbin. And I'm going to do that because I really want to spin the Ross Farms Wandering Wool. Yeah. On that, probably this week. And also get the prize for this week done. So... Pearl's pretty good. I have to watch her with the hooks going into her because she has like no boundaries.
Yeah.
So she wants to like get right up in your face, which we're working on. We're being firm, and she's doing a lot better. But I'm just worried about the hooks going into her face.
She has no fear at this point of Mama harming her.
Yeah.
But she doesn't realize that,
big moving wheels.
Sometimes that spinning equipment can be painful.
And she's been good with the ladybug so far, but she almost got nailed by Mom when she was spinning on the Saxony, so we'll see. So no spinning for me. We do have a book to review, and then we have a question to answer. So the book that we are reviewing this week is American Spun by Anna Sudo. Mm-hmm. This is a book I purchased after seeing it online. It's published by One Piece Books. It retails for $20 in the U.S., the cool thing about us being together is I can buy a book and then we can both review it because we only need one copy, which is very cool. This book is really interesting because it is 20 projects, but it's all articles about a bunch of different yarn producers.
And they're all American made.
They are. So Brooklyn Tweed, Harrisville Designs, Manouche, Mountain Meadow Wool, Elsa Wool, A Wing and a Prayer Farm, Elemental Effects, which we have some of, Rock Garden Alpaca Farm, Sheeps and Peeps, Frabjous Fibers, which I love, Spin Cycle Yarns, Lakes Yarn and Fiber, Pigeon Reef Studios, which I have a lot of, Jill Draper Makes Stuff, and Dunn Roving Yarns, which I think I actually have one of. So every chapter starts with kind of an interview with the producer of the yarn. And then So this is Brooklyn Tweed.
It talks a little bit about their process and what they want people to know about them.
Yep. And then there's at least one project using one of their yarns. On this one, like the Brooklyn Tweed, there's these really cool fingerless mitts using loft. And then there's a really cool hat. So I like all three. The interesting thing, I didn't realize this about Brooklyn Tweed, and I should have. If I'd been thinking, they dye their yarn in the wool, which gives them a more speckled palette, a more subtle palette. And I knew, of course, that they're woolen spun. Yeah. And I love the last like little hair tie. I want to knit this so bad, so bad. A lot of times this book only uses one. Like all three of these were done out of loft.
A single skein.
Well, not a single skein, just a single yarn that they produce. Like Brooklyn Tweed has three or four quarry, shelter, quarry,
and then there's one new
and
one.
Then they do a lace that's individual. So it only uses typically one yarn by that person. Leslie loves this blanket.
Well, I'm fascinated by the blanket. So there's a difference.
The pudgy blanket.
It's out of Manouche Pudgy, and
I love that cat.
So far as we can tell, it's essentially unspun. It's roving.
It's roving.
But the cost...
And it's a super bulky that you knit on size 50 needles.
Yeah. And the cost for that blanket is like $500.
Well, if you get in the 30 yard skeins, because they sell 200 yard skeins too, but what we were pricing was the 30 because that's what I could find online.
Yeah.
So it's a really cute blanket though, but it wouldn't be machine washable. It wouldn't be great for that cat that was just sitting on it.
It would be beautiful to display, but probably not practical to use. But I do think it's a really interesting niche thing, and more power to them.
Yeah, and it's 40 by 40 as the size. Look at Elsa Wool has this cute little...
Oh, that lamb is adorable.
That's the other thing is this is a great coffee table book for when you're having a bad day. Just pull open. This is a men's sweater, and it's a woolen spun worsted weight. It's more... I don't want to use the word tweedy. What's the word for that? Yes, thank you. Out of a marled yarn, which is... company woolen spun worsted weight. The cool thing about this book is it has a lot of sizing. So the small in this is a 37 and it goes all the way up to 65. The other thing I like is it tells you this is the finished chest and it's meant to fit this size chest. So it does tell you about ease. I like the cute little icons that they use too.
What size needles, what motions. And then at the beginning of the pattern it tells you if you need any special skills, like if it's staked or anything like that.
One thing I really like about this book is the font size is nice and big, which might bother some people, but my eyes are getting old and I like it. It also has nice, big, almost half-page schematics. So you can tell that this is a smaller publishing company.
Right.
Almost an indie it's probably an indie publishing company. This is really cool. So in this book, there are several... Oh, I'm sorry. I'm grabbing Leslie. I'm smacking Leslie around. There are several projects that use embroidery as a technique or cross-stitch. So the brim, this right here, all that is embroidered. And now it does use...
It employs yarn overs as a guide.
Yeah, so you have a guide for yourself to
and the yarn overs are completely covered once you do the embroidery, but it gives you a guide as to where to go, which is a great design method.
I thought it was really, really cool. They have Elemental Effects, who produces Fancy Tiger Crafts Romney yarn, and I thought that was a good use of the Romney yarn, because it can be a little bit scratchier.
Yeah, but it's good to be good for woolen boots. It would hold or not woolen boots, but like house shoes.
House shoes, yeah. Slippers. There's this cool rug that I'm slightly obsessed with, and if I didn't have animals, I would totally make. This is a core spun alpaca yarn, so it's got 100% alpaca spun around a cotton core, and it's 125 yards, but 52.5 ounces.
Wow.
So that's
4 pounds.
Yeah.
4.5 pounds.
So it's a huge yarn. The charts are nice and big. So they're very easy to see. Again, aging eyes makes me super happy. They do have Sheeps and Peeps long wool, which is, it doesn't tell you what kind of long wool there, but just that it's a long wool. And they use it for like candle jelly jar cozies, which I thought was a really cool use of that kind of yarn. And I believe that's embroidered as well. Yep. So a lot of embroidery in here. It's a cool technique to add. There's Frabjous fibers with these really cool mitts.
Yeah, I like the reverse stockinette with that detailing. Really makes it pop with the leaf detailing. And they're both knit identically, so there's no mirroring to worry about.
Yep. You can see right there. Very cool. Very simple charts. This is another cross stitch.
Yeah, she calls
technique.
It instead of embroidery, she calls it cross stitch because it's all X's and they're all the same size and everything. So I think she uses that technique well enough that it doesn't seem like it's overused in the book. Yeah, it's very
it's just
thoughtfully
three
done.
projects, but it's really well done. The spin cycle, there's a bias brioche cowl, which I really like, and I think would be perfect as well out of a hand spun. Spin cycle is another one who dyes their fiber and then it's spun into yarn. So really, really cool. Great for your bulky that you love to spin. There's, I love this sweater. So this is probably my favorite thing. Lake's Yarn and Fiber Targhee Worsted.
A Cordeline sweater.
It's really, really pretty. And it is sized from, it's out of worsted weight, but it says from 31 all the way up to 63.
Yeah.
And it calls for 1 to 2 inches positive ease.
The designer, which so far as we can tell is the author, really did a great job in sizing. Well, at least it appears. I haven't seen knitted garments from someone besides the sample knitter, but it at least appears that she made a really good effort on the sizing.
And then we have Jill Draper. Again, this goes from 34 to 66 inches. The Rondotte Cardi. I think this is really cute. I could definitely see this being worn at Rhinebeck. The other one too, for sure.
And
this is a nice
the
layering
thing about
piece.
all the designs in this, I feel like they would be good in hand spun. I feel like pretty much everything in this book would look good in hand spun.
Yep. I'm trying to figure out if this is from, yeah, you cast on at the top and do a yoke and work your way down. So, there you go.
Yeah. It's a really interesting sort of semicircular yoke.
For sure. And then, last but not least, there is an infinity cowl out of Dunrovane Frolicking Feet. I actually have a skein of this, I believe. And that might be what it becomes, because it's really a pretty use of that. That is grafted. So it uses a waste yarn and crochet hook cast on, and then is grafted. There's nice, clear technique sections in the back on how to graft. Actually, this grafting section is amazing, because it's grafting in stockinette, reverse stockinette, garter, and rib. And then switching stitch patterns while grafting.
Wow.
So that's pretty cool. There's resources in the back, additional materials.
And a little bit about the author.
Yep, and a little bit about the author. So I thought this was a cool one to pick up, especially if you are into buying locally.
It is not by any means comprehensive of every U.S. full circle U.S. made yarn. But it is good, does give you a nice taste of several different large and small companies.
For sure. A lot of these you can find in local yarn shops. Like you can find the Fancy Tiger Romney. You can find the Shelter in a lot of places. You can find Frabjous Fibers in a lot of places. So a lot of these are available to buy at local yarn shops as well. So that is American Spun, 20 Classic Projects Exploring Homegrown Yarn by Anna Sudo. It retails for $20 in the US. I am going to do something crazy and minimize what we're recording with because we have a question to answer.
Okay.
So the question is from Kitty Cats, and it says, Lala, sorry,
No
but you're gonna weigh in too. Since you knit so much for babies in the South, I have 2 people who are due in February. Neither are finding out the sex. We live in North Carolina, which while is not as hot as Mississippi, it's still warm. Do you have any suggestions for knitting projects for baby presents? Thank you. I'm curious as to where in North Carolina you are, because the mountain region can get a lot cooler than the shore region of North Carolina. By the way, I was talking to Amy of Ross Farms this weekend. And she was at the New Jersey Sheep and Wool. Do you know how warm it was there?
Like 70s.
Over 100 with the heat index. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like 88 here, and I was like, really? But yeah, New Jersey has and Philly has a heat wave, because they were saying at the football game today, in Cincy, it was over 100 degrees on the field.
Wow.
So I'm feeling pretty good about living in Mississippi right now.
God, that's got to be miserable.
My suggestions for knitting garments for babies in the South is knit layering pieces, because while the winter is not super cold, but it does get cold. It does get down, especially in January, February. It can be in the 40s, 30s. And lightweight layering pieces are always appreciated. I knit a lot of the Milo vests, which are out of DK weight, but the sweater I'm knitting right now is out of a fingering weight. If you don't mind spending a little bit more time, I think knitting with lightweight yarn is the best way to go. Do you have any comments?
I think that blankets are pretty unisex.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Laura and I reviewed a book a while back called 60 Quick Baby Blankets, and it's part of a series of 60.
It's by Sixth and Spring.
Yeah. And that had a lot of good options, but there's also a log cabin, which Laura's made, and it was used as a car seat blanket, right? For one of the nieces or something?
Oh, that's the niece. Alice has hers. Yeah, Alice had a smaller one that was out of cotton when she was itty bitty.
Yeah.
And then I knit her a bigger one a couple years ago, and she loves it.
I really like the idea of a log cabin, only because it's with colors, as long as you don't go super typical gender specific with blue and pink, I think pretty much every other color is fair game, and you can do like a palette of colors, like autumn colors or primary colors.
Yeah, definitely.
Something like that.
And you can use any weight yarn. Mm-hmm. So if you wanted to do it out of a DK weight,
when you start getting sick of it, you just call it done, right? Because it's just strips.
Once
done
you get
on
like
each
30 by 30,
right.
Yeah.
But I mean, once you get sick of it, you just say it's done, and then you block it super aggressively to make it grow. And you can do it out of cotton, or you could do it out of a superwash wool. Definitely make sure whatever you use is superwash.
Machine washable, yeah.
But I don't know. I think I'd probably do a blanket just because it's easy. Although it is more knitting than a little baby sweater or something. Or you could always, if you don't know them real well and they're just coworkers, do booties. Booties are like a keepsake.
Booties and a hat. Yep.
That's something that they can put in a shadow box later after they bring them home from the hospital in them. And, pretty low effort for the most part.
Yeah.
And, it's a really piece for the baby shower.
Definitely. Booties and hats go over really, really well.
Yeah.
In fact, probably better than the Milos do. So.
Milo's too practical.
Yeah, it is super practical. It is a practical piece. For sure. There's also bonnets are really cute that you could do unisex, like, Adrian of Hello Yarn has this really cute bonnet that has Totoro ears that you put on it. Like, you can, if you know the parents, if they have a certain geekery too, you can totally use that to your advantage.
If you know the parents and the parents have a geekery, like Laura said, go on Ravelry and search for Doctor Who and a baby tag and see what comes up, because you'll probably be blown away by the choices.
The amount of stuff that will come
And you'll
up.
probably take on more than you should, so maybe don't do that.
Oh, my friend Becca is getting 9 sweaters if I can get my act together. We're going to try.
I still
I have
knit
4
her
done.
one, so.
Yeah, she would be a good person to do a log cabin for.
Yeah.
If you're obsessed. It seems like you were in the mood to knit a log cabin, my friend.
I really am thinking about doing another, a blanket, I'd made for Nick, just doing something similar for the new baby. A quilt. I made her a quilt. For Nick. So, I'm thinking about doing that because it would give me a chance to use my sewing machine.
And machine washable.
And I don't have to put all that crap in the freezer for 2 weeks.
That's true. So, anyway. We are going to give away stash prizes.
Okay, do we want to talk about books first, or are we doing prizes first?
Yeah, let's do books. I have to look up my books. I'm making this minimized again. Alright. So, books that I read this week, I read Because I Can Pet My Dog with One Hand and Read with my Kindle in the other. I've read The Emperor's Arrow by Lauren D.M. Smith. I read that today. It was okay. I've been reading, in the past couple of years, a lot of dystopia. And this was not dystopia. This was more fantasy, but, you know, there's a political takeover and the woman has to save the guy. It's been kind of a trend in fantasy lately, especially YA fantasy. So this was an adult book, but it had that trend, and it was alright. I don't know that I'll go. It's a standalone, so I don't even have to worry about that. Another one. I did read A Promise of Fire by Amanda Boucher, and that was very good, and I immediately pre-ordered the next one. That is another fantasy. I think that's why the second one I was like, that was another fantasy that I read this morning. That is similar in that there's a female saving a male, but this one had a lot of Greek mythology in it, which was very interesting to me. I read Obsession by Nora Roberts because some days you just need a Nora Roberts book with a stalker and a serial killer. That one, it's actually a really interesting premise. It is a girl whose father is a serial killer. And when she's 12 years old, she, the family does not know. And so she follows him out to the woods thinking the next day is her birthday, thinking that he's like putting a bicycle together for her. They live in rural West Virginia. And she sees
doesn't
him.
Find a bicycle.
No, she sees him go into this root cellar at this old house. And she waits till he comes out and leaves. And she goes in to look for her bicycle. And she finds a woman who is chained and that has been raped along with bodies of other people. And she saves that woman, whose name is Amanda, and takes her to the local police. They go like multiple miles, and she saves her. And her father is like the most notorious serial killer of the 1990s, if not the 20th century. And every couple of years he'll reveal, because he likes the attention, he'll reveal like another body location. So she's got this whole history behind her. And of course, a serial killer fixates on her because he's like a copycat of her father. So it was interesting. It was a good, quick read.
It's not a typical Nora Roberts.
Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Her thicker ones. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've read Nora Roberts, but...
Yeah, she does a lot of, like Bayou Moon and stuff like that, where there's a killer. It kind of crosses into her J.R. Ward wheelhouse a little bit. But the shorter ones, no. They're like fantasy, fairies, whatever. But no, the bigger ones. And I waited for this one. I got it from the library. I had it on hold for like, I think it came out in February. So it's been a while before it came out. And then the other thing I read was, that I got from the library, was Dragon Soul by Katie McAllister. It's typical Katie McAllister. Total fluff with dragons.
Nothing wrong with fluff.
What I'm currently reading is Love from Boy, which is a collection of Roald Dahl's letters. He wrote all these letters to his mother when he was at boarding school. And until, like, a couple weeks before she died. So it's a collection of all the letters.
He's publishing his letters to his
No, he's deceased.
Oh. Okay.
It's, so Roald Dahl wrote all these kids' books, like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Fantastic Mr. Fox, BFG, The Witches, Matilda, a ton of kids' books. He also was a spy during World War I. Ian Fleming and him were spies together at the same time. I think it's 2. Yeah, it has to be 2. And he was a pilot for a short period of time. But he's also written some pretty interesting, like, telltale heart type horror, like Lamb to Slaughter for adults. And he also apparently wrote his mother letters every day. And so someone's collected... He also wrote an autobiography called Boy, which is a kid's... it tells a lot about where the ideas for Matilda came from, because he was sent to a boarding school. And then he did one called Flying Solo. So these letters kind of correspond with... We read Boy in the 6th grade. It's one of the assigned readings for my 6th grade. So these letters kind of correspond with some of those. It's an interesting read so far. I'm a little bit obsessed with Roald Dahl. Like, just a bit.
Okay.
So
all I know is when BFG came out in theaters, I thought the F was for something completely different. It's for Friendly.
Oh, yeah, it's Big Friendly Giant.
I didn't realize it was a kids movie.
Oh.
I didn't go see it or anything. I just saw the advertisement for it.
Yeah. Yeah. He's a Big Friendly Giant.
That's not the first F word that comes to mind. So for me, reading-wise, I am actually physically reading a book. I read a book called Lonan's War, which is sort of a fantasy-ish. It's the first in a series. I downloaded the second one just before I came here. Most of what I've been doing is listening, because I'm still unpacking, and when it comes to my yarn room, repacking. But I've been listening to the Rhaenyra Chronicles, which is by... Oh, goodness.
Oh, my goodness.
It was recommended... actually, it was on sale, and it was in my wish list from... sometimes I'll just spend hours looking through Audible and putting things in my wish list and waiting until they go on sale. And this,
you do a lot of audiobook listening.
A lot, yeah. So the Michael J. Sullivan, and it's narrated by Tim Gerard Reynolds. I think that's how I found it. It's because I really like Tim Gerard Reynolds as a narrator. And so I downloaded the first one, which was The Crown Tower, finished it in like 2 days, and then downloaded The Rose and the Thorn, finished it yesterday, and then downloaded The Death of Dolgoth, which is the third. There's 6 total, and he wrote them sort of in the way that the original Star Trek came out. So 4, 5, and 6, and then he went back and wrote 1, 2, and 3. But I'm actually reading them in order, chronological, not in release order.
Yeah.
And he says you can read them either way, that, you know, you don't miss anything, really.
Yeah,
but
I feel like that's a Lois Bijolds type thing, too.
A what?
Have you ever read any Lois Bijolds?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But, I'm really enjoying it. It's, you know, sort of fantasy nights, and although nothing so far has been R-rated, but it does involve brothels, so you hear the word whore a lot. So it's not one that I would recommend if that's something that you don't want your kids reading. And that's a completely valid.
Six of Crows uses brothels too.
Yeah.
But that's what I consider like YA, like grade 8, 9 up.
Let's see what else. I also listened to The Lion and the Crow, which was a male-male romance, which didn't end with a happily ever after, which I kind of appreciate, because it's not always like rainbows and unicorns, but...
Yeah, but when I'm reading...
It wasn't super depressing.
When I'm reading, I want it to be rainbows and unicorns.
And I finished Super Ego as well, which was by Frank Fleming, and it was about this assassin who sort of kind of develops the conscience, and it ends on a cliffhanger. I haven't gone out and looked to see if there were more. I should, but I haven't. Let's see. I'm trying to see me monthly listening. August, I listened for 200 hours.
Wow.
An average daily listening of... Whoa. On 9/10 yesterday, I listened for 12 hours.
Awesome. My average for the month was like 6 hours.
Yeah, no, I listen to a lot, especially when I'm unpacking. Like, it gives me something to do. And I found carpet beetle larvae in my craft room.
Hence the freezer comment.
Yeah, so I have to cycle all of my yarn through the freezer, so that's super awesome. But I'm not going to complain about it because it won't do any good. Anyway, so you wanted to talk about Stash Dash prizes, right?
Yes, we're going to give away Stash Dash prizes. So we
They're not coming from my house.
No, they're coming. They've never been to her house. We had, let me see, 339 people finish Stash Dash, which is really, really awesome.
That's total for all the categories.
Yes.
We had 5 different categories, 3K,
we
5K,
do. We
7,
have
10, and 15.
6 prizes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's do 1 for each category and just 1 from... How about the person who got the highest yardage?
Okay. I
Does
think
that make
I made a
sense?
note of
I
it.
think you did. So shared with me, /. So randomly, the person who had the highest yardage was Maz, which was 25. It's not yardage, just meters.
Meters. Yeah.
25,696 meters. So Maz, M-A-Z, if you will get in touch with me, we will send this cute little bag from Sarah's Cotton Patch your way.
And whoa, 25,000 meters is a lot.
So in the 15K category, we had 23 people complete 15K. So 1 to 23.
Oh, am I doing drawings?
Yeah.
You got to tell me that stuff. Okay. Random.org, and it's 23, so...
Yep, 1 to 23.
1, 2...
I should also write stuff down.
Alright, so 1 to 23. I haven't pushed the button. I have no idea if you can see this because we're looking at a spreadsheet. The result is number 6, and that is Queenie Lives.
Okay, so Queenie Lives. We will send you Cheeky Garden Yarns. This is Rose by any other name. So that's the Cheeky.
That's really pretty.
Goes to Queenie Lives. And just send me, Laura,
Lala on Ravelry.
Lala on Ravelry, a message with your address, and we will get the stuff out to you. So for 10K, we had 1 to 32.
Alright. So between 1 and 32, and the winner is... That didn't generate. The winner is number 5.
So number 5 is...
Erickson.
Erickson. E-E-R-A-K-S-O-N. If you'll send me a PM, we're going to send you this cool cowboy bag from Nikozuki Knits. And then for 7K, we have 1 through 76.
You know, I went through the 10 and the 15 and added like 4 things to my queue, so I still got to go through the 3, 5, and 7 because you did those.
Mm-hmm.
Because I found some of the greatest stuff in there.
I took pictures with my phone, so
all right,
I would
so
remember.
1 to 76, and the winner is going to be number 76. So that's Gypsy the dog.
Okay, and you're going to win the Fun Fair colorway of Amy of Serena Dye Works Oasis Base.
Yes.
So that's Gypsy
The dog.
the dog. Alright, and then for 5K, we have
1 through
89.
89. And
It's going to be this cute
I haven't pushed the button.
bag
From
with sheep.
Nikozuki Knits.
Nikozuki Knits.
The number is 75.
And that is Josie Bug. Oh, good. It's one of my house cut peoples.
Oh, Josie Bug.
She
Okay.
totally deserves it. She's an awesome... She's head of house for Slytherin.
Oh.
Like,
good
the
gracious.
whole head of house. Like, amazing.
Not like real Disney Slytherin or whatever, but like...
Harry Potter house
Which
stuff.
is still a lot. This isn't me like
this
putting
is,
it
like,
down.
Crazy
It's a lot of
amount
work.
posts. And then in 3K, we have 119 people who finished.
Wow.
And one of you is going to win this one hook double stitch in After the Storm.
Alright, so that's 1 through 129. I hope you can see it. I'm sorry, we can't see ourselves while we're looking at the spreadsheet. And that's going to be number 82.
82 is Tulip.
102903.
102903. So guys, if you would just send me Lala a PM, I will send out this stuff to you. I might put it in my freezer for a week first. Now I'm scared. Anyway, so other things we have to talk about. I will be teaching at House of Yarn this coming weekend, and there's still room in all of my classes. So I'm teaching the Afterthought Heels, and I'm also teaching my favorite class, which is making the correct fiber choice for your project. So that is lots of fun. I'll be at SAF taking a class with Beth Smith on Saturday. So that, like, not this coming Saturday, but in October 30th, I think, right around then. Let me look at the dates.
It's the weekend of Halloween.
Yeah, it is. I will be there the 29th. So I'm actually back at work on Halloween. That's going to be awesome.
That's going to be super fun for you and your middle schoolers.
It was really nice when it was on a Saturday last year. Anyway, so I will be at SAF Saturday. I took Friday off, so I'll be hanging out with Mom and Dad. Pearl's coming with me to Mom and Dad's, which will be lots of fun.
The only 2 things that Laura's got scheduled for the rest of this year, I'm on call for both weeks.
Yeah.
It figures.
It is what it is. But let me look and see if we have anything else to talk about. We are going to pull for Portland, hopefully this week.
Yeah.
Now that Stash Dash. Oh, and the Halloween Craft All the Things has started. There are 2 threads up. There's an FO thread, and there is a chatter thread, and you're welcome to post in either. The rules are very, very flexible.
Super lenient. You can cheat in pretty much any way you can think of. So.
Yes, for sure.
It's really more of a place to brag about what you've done.
Yep.
That's pretty much what it's for.
And to get great ideas for Halloween, because that's my favorite holiday.
I just like to be inspired by what other people do. Like,
that's true.
The cooking stuff and the sewing stuff and, the weaving. I don't know. I just think it's also
There's a lot of weaving in the 3 and 5K threads of Stash Dash.
Yeah.
It was lots of fun. Anyway, I think that's it for us this week. Is there anything else that you need to talk about?
Nope.
All right, we will see y'all next week.
Have a
Bye,
good one.
y'all.
Bye, y'all.